Hi, my friends. Welcome to Sort of Brilliant, a show where the characters are made up and the sorting absolutely does matter. My name is Rachel.
And I'm her best friend and co-host, Lauren. Every other week, we're going to invade a fandom and determine whether your favorite character belongs in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin.
We're the Harry Potter podcast that talks way more about any other franchise.
Here, we use the sorting structure from Harry Potter as a common language without supporting the author or her beliefs. As for the sorting itself, there's bound to be some arguments along the way.
But in the end, we're always right.
According to us.
According to us. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sort of Brilliant. It's just sort of brilliant. It's not really brilliant, just sort of. I'm Rachel. As you probably gathered from the intro that we already played before this. Did I really even need to say hello to you?
I don't know why you did the British accent.
Do I need to say hello to you?
I thought maybe you would go doo-doo-wee.
Why would I do that?
Because that's
Sometimes
the X-Files
I just
noise.
a British accent. I've seen 3 episodes of the show, so that hasn't really been
intro?
stuck into my brain.
All right, whatever.
Such a catchy intro.
It is.
It is, and it's iconic, and I've heard it my entire life in
Well, then why did...
other ways. Well,
I love how you contradicted your argument immediately.
You'll all be like really happy to know that Lauren said I don't want to fucking do the intro because I did it last week, and it's like labor that you
now
tell
I'm
me.
critiquing her.
So that's why she made me do it.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone right now, you can shout at Lauren that if you want it done a certain way, that you can just do it yourself. It's like really easy. You could just do that. But anyway, Lauren's not the special guest today. Let's forget her. Nish is our special guest today. That's who we should be focusing our attention on. Hi, Nish.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
How are you, lovely ladies?
Wonderful. Nish finally is the reason that we actually watched
Nish's
episodes
never been
of
on
the
the show
X-Files.
before.
Nope.
No, never.
I'm terrified to try to sort.
In all the 2 years. Well, Nish.
First time.
Here you are. Nish came to us, was like, I want to do the X-Files. And we were like, all right, I'm not watching the entire show, Nish. So it's going to be a shit sorting. Although, fun fact, now Rachel and I probably are going to watch the entire show, but we weren't going to watch it before we had time to do this. Yeah, why not?
You liked it?
I mean, it's been on my list for a while. I've known about it. I was reading, I don't know if you remember the person who coined Supernatural, that show.
I know.
I was meaning to watch it.
Been thinking about her all day.
I was meaning to watch it before that, and then she turned on us. And out of spite, I was like, I will not watch your show.
It's a show that, like, I grew up and it was on TV in the 90s and everything. And I feel like every sci-fi nerd from that time period has seen it. I feel like it's something I should have watched.
It's a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm big. I was big. I grew up big on Buffy,
shit.
so
I knew
it's
that
weird.
I want you to believe, and I knew the whole thing.
Yeah, you know, like the iconic things, like the poster in his office, and I want to believe, and she's the skeptic, and he's the believer. Like we all know the basics of it, but I don't know. I didn't really know any of the details, and I have to tell you, Nish, I was like, I wasn't surprised by Scully's characterization as much as I was by Mulder's, because having never seen it before, I thought their dynamic was something else. So it was really cool actually getting to see it. And I was like, oh, it's that. Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get into all that, I guess we'll talk a little more about Nish.
Let's do it.
Like I said previously, I just saw Rachel open up the document.
I did. I mean, I like just like talking. So
I know.
I don't know.
It's like we're getting into an area that is probably going to
lead
into...
I don't really give a fuck. I just want to talk to her.
Is?
No, I know who Nish is. I want to talk to her now.
Nobody else knows who Nish is.
You know?
Who are you, Nish?
How should I should not deprive the audience. Hi, Nish. Who are you?
I'm just a gal from Wisconsin.
Yeah. Not Sheboygan.
And trying to keep the cats currently out of the drawers because they're opening the drawers and making noise.
Let them make their noise.
They are so naughty. It's been fine all day, and now one of them's trying to get into the cabinets, and he's like, damn, bam, bam, bam.
If it helps, I don't hear it, but I support his behavior.
I tried to mute it. But
that's okay. Hannah can do that. Nish is our very, very good friend from the Supernatural fandom. We've said before, everybody on the show we know from the Supernatural fandom, except Jen and Aaron. But they are new friends.
No, by nature of being in the Supernatural fandom, we found each other and then found them. So
there you go.
Oh, so you're counting that?
Yeah.
Okay. Nish is also really good friends with Meg and Carla, who have been on this podcast way too many times. We've actually banned them until March. They're not allowed to be on again until then.
Oh no! What will Meg do?
What are we doing with them again? Oh, we're doing the cleaning lady in March is what we're doing with them.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they've been asking for that one for a while. So yeah, Supernatural fandom. Basically.
And funny, I got into the Supernatural fandom because of the X-Files. Because
that's what that's what I'll talk about later. That's why I know about the X-Files.
Yeah,
it's Supernatural. So
I watched the X-Files. I started watching it when it started in 93?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 93. I was
not born yet.
Shut up.
I thought it was 95. Why did I think 95?
Yeah, it's 93. I was like 23. Wow. And
looks good for 93.
And yeah, that's what I thought too because I've been rewatching it again. And a lot of it still holds up, which I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I was dying at the vampires. I'm sorry.
The vampires, yeah. I knew you'd like that one.
With the eyes, the glowy eyes that were like pasted over their eyes so they weren't moving correctly.
Yeah. Some of the special effects don't hold up, but a lot do. But yeah, I watched that, and when X-Files ended, I was devastated, even though the last 2 seasons sucked. And then...
you can swear on this, Nish.
I could say sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. We rated explicit just so we can say whatever the fuck we want.
So yeah, the last 2 seasons suck shit. Well, the last 4, the reboot, I'm not happy with either. And then Supernatural was coming up, and I knew that Kim Manners, who did X-Files, was part of Supernatural, and Jensen Ackles was on it. So I was going to watch it. It gave me 2 reasons to watch it.
What did you know Jensen from, Dark Angel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had been on Smallville
I saw Kim's name in the credits today, and I was like, Kim.
Yeah.
Kim Manners is a beautiful man who passed away during Supernatural season 4. And the cast speak about him very highly, which is how I know him. Just the cast speaking about him, people who knew him. But
yeah, they even do a tribute to him in the reboot. Mulder's sitting by he's like just leaning up against a headstone, and it says Kim Manners on it.
Oh.
So yeah. Nice. But that's how I got into Supernatural from X-Files. But I've always liked spooky, weird things, because when I was a little kid, Scooby-Doo was my favorite.
Yes.
Because it was scary, a little bit scary. So I just kept going with the scary motif.
I love scary shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. You know what the thing is with me? I like really spooky, scary stuff, but I've never been into aliens. So that's what kind of kept me away from X-Files.
Oh, that makes sense.
But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, now hold on a minute.
It's a little more of a Twilight Zone vibe than it is like a spooky, scary vibe.
Yeah, and it's and like Supernatural, it has the aliens is the main story, but it goes off into Monster of the Week stories, so you do get the other Supernatural stuff too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
interesting.
I like the procedural format. I like that it's 2 FBI agents. I love like all that kind of stuff. So I was like, I don't understand why I didn't think I was going to like it just because of the aliens. I don't know. I would have never gave it a chance if not for you.
Oh,
so,
yay. Now I'm excited that other people are going to watch it.
Yeah, no, it really is as good as everyone said. And I should have, caught on to that. Everyone's been saying it since I was literally like 5 years old. So
we don't have to
1993. Wow.
We don't have to live through the het baiting either. Thank God the heterosexuals get together. That never happens in popular media.
I guess they do. Well, I'd be pretty pissed if they didn't after watching any of that. I was like, this should obviously happen. So
anyway, Nish, we ask everybody, because this is a sort-in show, kind of evolved the ask now that J.K. Rowling is such a huge piece of shit and, culture's moving the way it is. But what is your familiarity with the world which sorting comes from? Yeah, with the text material.
I started in Harry Potter in probably 2002, so I was in my 30s. And
it's when the first movie came out, 2001, November,
2001, yeah. 2002. I hadn't watched the movies, though. I read the books first. I'm very much a book first, then movies. And I was pregnant with my daughter and gave birth to her when Order of the Phoenix came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading Order of the Phoenix to her out loud when she was a little baby.
Oh.
Just to read it to her.
Wow, what an angsty book to read to a child.
Yeah, well, it just was your tone of the voice. She just liked the tone of the voice.
Yeah.
I was trying to multitask. I mean, trying to feed her and read to her because I wanted to sleep when she slept.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was just trying to get my book read while I did that. Actually,
good choice.
One of the girls that was in she was in the room with me when I was giving birth, was reading Order of the Phoenix, and she got all mad and made a grumpy noise. And I'm like, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Just shut the book.
What's the big... Oh, Sirius Black dies in that book. That would have been the big spoiler.
Well, she was upset because I think I found out later it was the part she read about about Mr. Weasley getting attacked.
Oh, bit by the snake? Yeah.
So I think she thought he might die.
Yeah.
She was upset.
Also devastating, but he was okay. Sirius Black disappeared forever, and we don't.
I know, he's my favorite character. So
it's Rachel's
Mine too.
Yeah. Rachel's
He's the
favorite
best.
too.
I know.
He's literally the best one. Well,
My
besides
favorite
Harry.
character
Harry's
was
my other
dead
favorite.
before the books began. So
You're fucking weird. You're weird. But your favorite character birthed my favorite character.
Thank you.
I put Harry and Sirius on the same level for me.
He put a lot of work into
love
it.
them both. So much.
a lot of work. Yeah.
But Sirius probably wins.
Yeah.
Good taste,
I do.
Nish.
I love Sirius so much. I was so upset when he died in the books. I'm like, no, he was the best character. So yeah,
probably.
I love reminiscing on a time when we were all like reading them and like the little things that pop up in your memory. Like I vividly remember throwing the book when it happened. Like I remember just slamming it down.
I remember
and
crying.
being like, no.
I was not as affected by Dumbledore's death. I was kind of like, I
me neither.
expected. I could have seen that
just
coming.
worried me.
Yeah, I was just like, oh
Like,
yeah,
what
I know
now?
what's gonna happen. Yeah, I cried with Sirius Black. I was like, what the fuck? I cried with Dobby. I have no idea why. I think it was just written well. But yeah,
we had a rough go of it with some of those deaths, but
Hedwig, I was like, what the one sentence that she kills Hedwig in? I was like, what the hell?
rough shit.
that was like that one got me really. But I am an animal person.
It's
so.
just like, oh, the cage dropped, never to be seen again. And I was like, what? Like that's a joke, right? Like, that's,
yeah. Don't kill the animals,
here, right?
Yeah,
that shit hurted. Okay, so what Hogwarts house are you in, Nish?
I'm a Gryffindor.
Hell yeah, you are.
How do you know that, Nish?
I know that because you told me between you and Hannah yelling at me because I thought I was more of a Hufflepuff.
Nah.
And they're like, no, you're not. But I was going by the stereotypical Gryffindor traits. Yeah. So that's why. And when
you don't
they went
think
more
you're brave and morally righteous? And
well, I think brave now I do. Morally righteous, yes. I can admit that now that I'm older.
Yeah. And brave means all sorts of things. Like I always bring up Neville Longbottom. The kid wasn't brave, but found it somewhere.
Yes. Well, I found it somewhere recently.
The hat knows.
Too, so.
Yeah, there you go. The hat knows.
Yes.
Dude, you're in the best house. Just like be really happy about it.
Shut up.
Just about everybody I know is in Gryffindor, with the exception of Laren and Carla.
Rachel says, even though she's been complaining about her house lately,
I don't care for the men.
I love your men. I
love the women
men.
of my house, though. So when I need
for me, I love
Gryffindor,
the woman in my
like,
house.
The one woman.
Yeah. She's got a bunch.
I know a lot of women.
Do ya?
Yeah. You not listen to the show?
I do listen to the show, but I can't remember. I'm old. I can't remember all
There's so many women in my house.
It's fine. It's not
Rachel's
an age
fault.
thing.
She started making
I don't remember
amazing trading
either.
cards like months ago, and they're not done.
Yeah,
and we haven't
part
updated.
Of that is,
we haven't updated the scale either.
Gotcha.
Part of that's being a Gryffindor. Like, Nish, don't worry about your memory. I have none. Like of a fucking goldfish. People, I don't remember anything.
I haven't since I gave birth to my child. Before that, I was really good, and then I don't know.
Me too.
And then it went away.
Me too.
I remembered everything, and now I have to write everything down. Yeah. I have all these notes right now for this. So I remember.
Oh, you're kind of like Carla.
Well, Carla's old too.
Well, but Carla does research too. Like she listens to episodes of our podcast where we sort who like she wants to hear what the houses are like. Meg doesn't do shit. She just comes in here.
Oh my God. I spent all of today researching on the internet because one of them I wasn't 100% sure of. And then I went back and listened to the Hawkeye episode.
Yeah.
So I just finished that out.
Good choice.
Yeah. So I had to listen to that.
She asked me for specific houses. I gave her one of that episode I gave her 3. That's the one she listened to.
Yeah, that's the one I listened to. Because I've listened to all of them. I just
thank you for being our number 1 fan.
Yay.
I always listen to you guys in bed with Behead.
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
I always make sure. Because it's like being in the room with you again. So, except that I've never been in the room with Rachel.
Sweet.
No, I know. Isn't that so weird?
I've been on Zoom calls.
We've been talking forever.
Yeah, but I've never been in a room with you.
I know. I'm not really a traveler. I'm not a traveling kind of gal. And where everyone meets up was conventions. I'm also not a huge convention person. So it's like opportunities are limited.
Yes. I got to come out east is what I'm going to have to do.
Whenever you're out here, you come on back.
I have plenty of friends in the New York area. My best friend is in New York. She's in Westchester. So
cool. I'm near there.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Well, now I am. I'm from Queens, but I'm near there now.
And the cat walked over the
cat just wants to be heard, Nish. It just wants its voice heard.
Yes. Oliver Queen. That's Oliver Queen that just went by.
Oh, what a great name.
Green Arrow.
Yes.
One day we'll sort that show probably.
Yeah.
That show I never got
also
into.
Sounds like a mess I don't really want to watch.
It's a great name though, isn't it? Oliver Queen.
Oliver Queen is, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
if Mia had been a boy, I was going with Oliver. I really like that name.
Oliver's
really?
a great name.
Probably because of that
You kept
show.
telling me Harrison too.
Harrison was at
wanted to
first,
call
and then
him
I went to
Harry.
Oliver. No, then I went to Oliver Reed.
Okay.
If I was going to have a boy, it was going to be what was it? Zachary. Zachary was the name I had.
Oh,
great
that
name.
was the name of my first boyfriend in
Nish?
kindergarten.
My husband would not agree with me on Zachary, and I wanted it so bad. He's like, "It's not Saved by the Bell, dude." I want it so bad.
We ended up with Chloe, though. Chloe came about because I watched way too many WB shows. So Chloe's from Smallville.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And so she was either going to be, for a girl, she was either going to be Willow, Chloe.
No, Lana.
No, or Phoebe, as in Phoebe from Charmed.
Nice.
Okay.
So I had all WB shows lined up for girls' names.
The WB shows had fantastic girl names.
Yeah.
Fantastic ones.
So
I love Willow.
Yeah.
But Chloe's a beautiful name.
Nish, are you going to go to the Supernatural convention now that they're inviting Smallville people?
I don't know. It's very
you
exciting
should.
because I love
Yeah.
Smallville.
Yeah.
I watched that before Supernatural because it was on before Supernatural.
Yes, it was. I do actually want to watch Smallville, so that can go on our
I'm kind of
huge
rewatching
list
that
as
too.
well. Every year, I'm like, man, we're going to run out of shows to sort. And then every year, Rachel and I are like, why isn't this on the list for the year?
Mm-hmm.
I literally, before we made the list, was like, I really desperately want to watch 30 Rock, and it's not on a list. We didn't put it on the list.
Aw. I have to watch that. I haven't watched that either.
I love 30 Rock.
I
very
forgot
funny.
to watch that.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
I don't know why. Sometimes I wait on some of these shows. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I watch them. I'm like, why did I wait for this show?
Yeah.
30 Rock is like my Office. You know how people put on The Office when they have nothing to watch and they just want a background thing or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need to be in any specific mood to watch 30 Rock. It's just, you just put it on.
Yeah. And Friends is my background.
Okay.
That would be mine too.
Yeah.
But then I get distracted and I have to sit and watch it.
I
It's not a very good background.
All right. Anyway, so as everybody could probably guess from the show we're doing, we're sorting Fox Mulder and Dana Scully today. I don't know if there are any other characters on that show worth sorting. Are there any other reoccurring?
His first name is Fox.
Did you not catch that? Yes,
No.
Rachel. That was one of the very superficial reasons I put him in the house that he's in.
Yeah. The other good characters on there are Skinner, which is played by
Their supervisor or whatever.
yeah, which is a supernatural person, which is
Samuel Campbell, right?
yeah.
It was Mish Pileggi.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Cigarette Smoking Man would have been a good one to sort because he's an evil character in there, and he's continuous.
I know some shit about him.
Yeah, and Krychek is another one, which you'll once you watch the shows, you will totally
Right.
I'm going to. It really grabbed me today.
Oh, good. Which
was like,
episode
whoa.
grabbed you? that I told you to
literally
watch?
the first one.
She was like 10 minutes into the pilot. She's like, I'm going to watch this.
I was like, this is a good show. It's actually good.
Yeah, it's one of the first few on the pilot. I was hooked. Usually I need 3 episodes to get hooked on a show.
Of course.
But X-Files and Supernatural, I was hooked on the first episode.
Yeah, I will agree with that with Supernatural too. Because I
went into
good
pilot for
I've been very vocal about not being a horror person, and I was convinced to watch Supernatural by my friend who was like, the guys on it are hot. And also Tumblr was in its like Destiel era at the time. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. If it's too scary, I'm not doing it. And the pilot was good. So
yeah.
It was a good show. I wasn't allowed to watch Supernatural. I used to sneak watch it, and then my mom got really mad at me. She's like, "This is you shouldn't be watching this." I was like, okay, geez. They got me anyway.
Yes. So Mulder and Scully is who we're sorting. I don't know if I said I don't have any familiarity with the X-Files other than popular culture familiarity. Obviously, all of the times it's been referenced or whatever. So I have like a. The biggest familiarity I have with it is people began bringing it up a lot in relationship to Destiel, and I read a lot of meta that compared how Mulder and Scully became a couple to the way that Destiel could become a couple.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there was a lot. From what I've read and learned, the Mulder and Scully were never meant to be a relationship, according to the head of the show. Didn't want it to be a relationship, never wrote it that way, never intended to write it that way. And then a lot of fan pressure made it happen.
And their chemistry. Chemistry together made it happen, just like Jensen and Misha's chemistry is just off the charts, and you can't help but see it.
You're right, and you should say it. But yeah, so I read a lot of meta about like around season 7, season 8 of Supernatural, where people were like, it could be like this, like we could have it. And I believed it. So, and you know what? We kind of did get it. So we kind of did. We got way more than I thought towards the end of that show. So how about you, Rachel? What's your familiarity with the X-Files?
I already said it. You yelled at me for it, so I'm not repeating it. No.
You didn't really.
I was a child of the 90s, and I saw it on TV, and I know the theme song, and I know all the, little pop culture reference things. Like, everyone always calls 2 characters that are trying to solve a mystery or being, like, suspicious. Okay, Mulder and Scully. So, like, it, vaguely. But I just wasn't an Alien person, and I was like, I don't think this is going to be my thing. And then I watched Buffy as a child. So, like, yes, this is right up my alley. So, child of the 90s with no X-Files knowledge. Very sad.
Yeah, and
but kind of exciting. I get to watch it now.
Yeah, see it under fresh eyes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite TV show of all time. So.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, it's so whenever especially talking to you guys who are, Nish is older than me and Rachel's a little older than me. My first like experience with this type of show, like actually watching like a grown up, I don't know, like weekly type show is actually The Vampire Diaries. So gotcha. I was a bit behind. Yeah, the new WB, CW, yep. WB, yeah.
And X-Files was actually Fox, so.
Oh, okay.
That's where it came from. You would think it would be a WB show, but it was Fox because there was no WB when it started.
Right.
I was like, no, it's on Fox. His name isn't Fox.
No, it is on Fox. Yeah.
That's great.
And if you watch it, now watching it after you've watched Supernatural, you will see a lot of the similarities and how it's filmed.
The episode you gave us was the freaking episode where Dean and Sam are like giving their POV to Bobby when they're like, You'll see a lot of the same episode.
Yeah, you'll see all the familiarities and the locations you'll recognize locations in it too, because I'll always be like, oh, wait.
Something happened there before.
Wasn't Mulder and Scully just there?
I like that. I like whenever I do a Buffy rewatch, I feel the same thing. I'm like, someone must have been watching the show when they wrote that Supernatural episode. And I'm like, it's very cool seeing the way it developed. And the special effects get better over time.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're starting with supposedly Fox Mulder.
Why do you not believe that's his name? It was on his nameplate. He introduced himself. No, he introduced himself as Fox.
Nish, it's not as Nish. His name is just Fox. Like
he said, my name is Fox.
Yep.
Fox Mulder.
Fox Mulder.
Right, but I was wondering if it was short for something.
Yeah.
So Nish gave us 3 episodes in the movie to watch. I have to be honest, Nish, we didn't watch the movie.
Okay.
1, because we didn't have time, and 2, because Rachel then expressed interest in wanting to watch the show, and I said you should not watch the movie if you want to actually watch the show. But Nish gave us the pilot. She gave us season 1, episode 13, Beyond the Sea, and then season 5, episode 12, Bad Blood. So that is what we watched.
I just wanted you to see a funny one. That one always makes me laugh.
That one was my favorite.
That was probably the perfect.
Yes,
the perfect
and it was
one
actually
for
like
our
even if you didn't intend it, that was the perfect
because
one.
I gave you kind of an outlook of how they look at each other too,
and also how they look at themselves, which is very telling. Yep. So,
and the Beyond the Sea is you get a lot of Scully, so you because they kind of I like whenever they dive farther into Scully because you know who Fox is. You just always know.
Right.
There's Mulder is an open book, but Scully isn't. So.
Anyway, all right. So we're starting with Mulder. You want to start with him? I just put him on the list first. It doesn't have to be him.
Oh, no, I can do that. Let's see how right or wrong I am. I say he's a Gryffindor.
Okay.
Because there's the fact that his sister is still his old. He reminds me of Harry.
Such a good point. It's a good point.
He
Nish,
reminds me of Harry. He's got he lost somebody when he was young. Somebody super important to him. He didn't remember what happened. At first, he just thought she was abducted by a stranger. Later on, you find out he was hypnotized and he saw all the alien stuff. So you never know. You're always doubting if that is true or is that not.
I forgot to mention that. That's something that I like that I have intuited from this show and that I like about it is that you're never, as the audience, supposed to be like, yes, this stuff exists.
You're
it's
never
always
100%
like,
sure.
who are you with? Yeah.
And so he pretty much likes to take on the whole world to do the right thing, and that's to find out if this exists and if he can save his sister still, because he wants the truth of what happened to her. So he's always seeking that out. And I have all my little
your
notes
here.
Go off.
And he's got a big hero complex, I think. So he's willing to make all these horrible sacrifices just to find out the truth. He wants the truth no matter what. So he does a lot of really questionable things for the truth and justifies them. And he's super reckless when he goes about it. There's so many times he puts himself and Scully in such horrible, dangerous situations, especially Scully. Man, he puts her in so many situations where she is in danger.
Nish, I have a question for you, just because you've seen the show and I haven't.
Yeah.
When he does that, does he do it unthinkingly, or does he do it like, this will work out?
I think it varies for him. Sometimes he's not even thinking. I think in the starting of the show, he did it without thinking. He just did it. But after he figures out that she's an ally and that she's important, which happens fairly fast within the first season, I think he thinks it's just going to work out. Things will just work out in the end. Yeah. But at first, not at first, because it takes a little while for him to warm up to her, because she's basically there to keep him honest.
But like in the episode where he stakes that man, and then it's possible he may go to jail, and they might be like, does he do stuff like that unthinkingly? Or is he just like it'll be fine later on? Like, we'll figure it out.
I think he did that very unthinkingly. I think he went on pure instinct. And he was positive he was right about the situation, even though Scully's like, no, wait,
right.
Let's think that's true. No, it was pure instinct for him on that one. So, yeah. I also think he's very, very loyal to a fault. And has to do with his sister. He is as close as he is to Scully. There are times where he chooses his sister over Scully. Because his sister is super important to him, but Scully is important to him too. So it's like one of those kind of things. And I know I'm talking Slytherin stuff in here too. So some of this stuff sounds Slytherin to me as I read this. Oh, and the other thing we were talking about, he acts first and thinks later. Because he does that a lot, where he gets.
I can see that.
Yeah, he gets a lead, and he wants to, no matter how small it is, and he wants to go and check it out, even though it could be the most ridiculous thing ever.
Supports his points, though.
Yeah, it supports his point, and if it's anything that's going to get him closer to his sister, he will definitely do it. And I think he's very controlled by emotions. I think he's an incredibly emotional character. When his father, see, I'm going to have spoilers in here because you haven't watched it.
It's all right.
It's been on forever. It's fine.
Yeah.
When his father dies, and how he finds out how his father dies, when his mother dies, when Scully's kidnapped, everything he does is completely controlled by that emotion that he's feeling. So those are some of the reasons I put him in Gryffindor. I don't know if that's right or not.
So before did you finish all your points?
Yeah.
I want to interrupt.
I mean, this is a shit sort, so who knows if we're right either. But
honestly, Nish, before anything else, I just want to compliment your sorting ability because you really thought this out well. And I was having a conversation with Lauren before this where I was like, I can see someone saying to me, because of his sister, that he's a Gryffindor. That's the driving force behind him. And that would be a completely valid take on him. And I'm not an expert on the character, neither is Lauren. But we did agree if he could be a different house than what we thought, it could only be a Gryffindor. So we're leaning more towards Slytherin, though. Just from the small sample size of what you gave us. That's what our vibe was.
Because there's some of this stuff I read in here. I'm like, oh, God, this sounds like Slytherin.
That happens sometimes when people are saying their stuff and then we're like, say another house.
No, I was listening to it and I did the same thing. I was
I'll tell you,
it happens.
I can't wait until we have a certain character as a touch point for Gryffindor because he's so easy to use as a touch point. But from what I saw, I literally said this to Rachel, that thing with his sister, a Gryffindor would take that and base their whole life and personality around it and would just be hitting at it and hitting at it and hitting at it and not really be very careful or methodical about what they're doing about it. They would just be like, I'm going to find her. I'm going to save her. And that's just it, unthinkingly. And from what I saw of Mulder, he got educated and he trained himself up on exactly what he needed to know. And the thing that's driving him is not yes, it's save my sister, but it's not just that primal animalistic save my sister. It's what the hell happened to her? Why is everybody trying to hide the fact that this stuff happens? Why is this important? It's this bigger thing surrounding it. And he made himself an expert in that exact thing that he needs to know. And that's why I was getting at the line of questioning I was at earlier. Is he, just running into things gotta help people, gotta save people, whatever? Or is he I am really, really good at this stuff and it's just going to work out?
Yeah, he knows he's really good at stuff because he's a highly acclaimed profiler.
Right. He reads people.
He definitely does that.
Yeah.
He's 100%. I mean, that's what he was known for before he got into the X-Files.
Right.
And then that's where he got the spooky Mulder whole thing. But he definitely knows his stuff. He knows the X-Files back and forth. Right. You'll find that out as you watch the series. He knows it.
And I was saying to Rachel, it's almost funny because you can tell he's nobody believes me and that's annoying. But I also get the feeling that he's kind of into it. He's walking around none of these idiots understand. What's happening
definitely
here?
Likes the fact that he's known as Spooky Mulder and he's known as the outcast, the outsider. He definitely does that.
Peasants know what actually is happening to them.
Yeah. He embraces that for sure. Obviously, with the poster and the his office in the basement and stuff like that.
So he does still I'm asking to be spoiled here, but he still thinks he's going to find his sister, and that's a big.
He never stops looking for his sister.
Right.
Never ever.
So I can see I can totally see how you got to Gryffindor from there because like Lauren was saying with Gryffindors, there's at least one's in media, right? Like I can't say that you or I have one specifically, but it's more likely to occur in a Gryffindor that there's a defining moment surrounding some kind of trauma and your personality starts to get crafted around it because it hits so hard and it hits so deep that everything in your world is colored by it because we be feeling deeply, you know? But it's what you do with that information. It's not to say that a Gryffindor couldn't go on to be an FBI agent and educate themselves on it and then try to figure it out. But from what I saw, it's the way that he fell into it. Like everything about it is extremely methodical. And so like you were saying, he knows the X-Files back to front. He likes his weird little spooky Mulder persona. Like it's just more logical the way he's going about it. I don't see like a rage and anger coloring even when he's talking to Scully about his sister. It's just, okay, I'm tasked with this. I want to find her. I want the answers. There's no like simmering anger underneath it. Like I'm sure it comes out later because who wouldn't? Like any house, like your sister's missing, right?
Yeah.
But in this moment where he's having this very serious discussion with her and he's sharing this thing, there's not like, and I'm going to find those bastards and I'm going to get them. It's not like that. It's very like, and they're hiding things from us. And I want to be the one who uncovers what they're hiding from us. So it's just it's like a slightly different.
There's no Die Hard
pattern.
I'm going to get these people who took over this building.
Right. He's not going in guns blazing.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes he is, because I can think of episodes where he is very much like that. And I always thought him more emotional than logical because he bucks at the science.
Right. But that's because
but it's not the right science. Yeah.
He thinks he knows
not the right science. He's like,
I mean, that's what I think anyway. You could know better.
Science is a liar sometimes.
Yeah.
Science is a bitch sometimes.
And he was older when he got when he was hypnotized.
Right.
He wasn't young. He was in his FBI career, I believe.
When he remembered his sister.
Right. Because I think he went into profiling because his sister was abducted and he thought she was abducted by a stranger.
But it was still repressed memory. Right. Like, you know, I posed a theory to Rachel today, which, you know, everybody who's a frequent listener knows about our stupid scale that is totally logical and makes complete sense to everybody who knows what they're talking about. And we've talked about before how each house scale butts up against another. So like the Slytherin scale, the left side would butt up against Hufflepuff and the right side would butt up against Ravenclaw. So extremely left side Slytherin would be similar to an extremely right side Ravenclaw, et cetera, et cetera. I posed the theory to Rachel today that anybody who is smack in the middle of their scale is very similar to the house opposite them. So the house they don't butt. So a very middle Slytherin would be pretty similar to a Gryffindor. And I was watching Mulder, and he is he's probably if he is a Slytherin, I am actually like eager to watch the rest of the show. But right now, I think he's a Slytherin. And as I see him, he is the most middling Slytherin that I've ever seen. He is extremely in touch with all of the Slytherin shit and is very balanced about it. And like in the episode with Scully's dad who dies, and he's like, I'm sorry about your dad. And he caresses her cheek and then I was like, oh my God, this man is playing with Gryffindor. So like he's totally in touch with his feelings and shit. And he's fine with it. Like he's not bothered by it. He's just like, yeah, I'm good at this. And then he walks away. But it didn't seem like he was like driven by them. I don't know.
And what about
episodes I saw?
And what about in Bad Blood? Makes it real obvious that he's Slytherin and Bad Blood?
Oh my God, the way he describes himself.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
That is in his own brain that he's like, yes, I was very logical. And like, I had to explain to people who were way behind me about the shoes. And then like this buck-toothed sheriff man that Scully for some reason thought was attractive. And like, it doesn't matter to me, but I'll slip in the fact that he's attractive just so she understands at every point that I'm making logically, he was unattractive. And also, I went back to the hotel and I was so tired and Scully was just there bitching at me and I just had to stay silent and take it until she left. And then, oh my God, I had to do everything all day. It's very harrowing being the head of this FBI team.
You can very much like look at Sam and Dean in this respect because that's a Gryffindor Slytherin. And you can see a Gryffindor is getting bitched at, right? Like he thinks all you do is bitch at me. And he's just constantly like insulting him and yelling at him and getting angry about it. And like, I don't see him doing that to Scully so much.
His response to her was literally like, Rachel tells me I do this all the time, like the shutdown where you're just like taking in the information, but you're not responding to it. And then you're like done. And actually the way that Scully described him too was not Slytherin. Like I can definitely see how the way that Scully sees him is more stereotypical Gryffindor with like the high energy puppy dog type thing. But I still saw that as Slytherin. I just saw it as a Slytherin who was extremely confident in what he knew. And and was like, and is like ready to go. Like the whole her memory of that first part where he's like telling her about the cows or whatever, I thought was more true than his memory of it. Because his memory of it was just like, there's a case, we got to go, which is how Slytherin would think of themselves. But then Scully was like, he's going through this like dramatic retelling of like building up to the fact that it's vampire. And that was also like very Slytherin. Like he's like, I got an end game, I got a punchline, we're gonna get there. Like it's so cool, here you go, like I know all this shit, let's go.
I think it's also the nature of the show that you're supposed to look at the two of them and look at her like the logical skeptic and look at him more as an emotional person. And I think they're trying to make you look at it that way. So that's why before I even looked at it, I was like, oh, he's probably a Gryffindor and she's probably whatever, I won't say, right? But I thought he was a Gryffindor going into it, just based on the dynamic. You're giving me a skeptic, logic, then you're going to give me an emotion house, right? And that's usually like a very popular dynamic you see in shows like this. It's just that under the surface, you're looking at him and you're looking at what he's motivated by and how he reacts to his motivations. I can see how one would say some of this is very Gryffindor, but you just dig a little deeper in there. And it's like, surprise, Slytherin. It's great. That was just my read. Yeah. It's 3 episodes, right? Like, I could be wrong.
And like you said too, like his whole like he's into the persona thing, but also like how he's okay with being alone and just thinking about himself. Like he doesn't. And then when Scully shows up, like it doesn't really change the dynamic of how he works. He's just like, yes, another person to bounce off of. He loves having a skeptic. He's like, this is so funny. He like does. A Gryffindor would get frustrated. They'd be like, how are you not? And you can tell he thinks it's funny. Yeah. It's like
a Gryffindor, I can just tell you from my brain, I might perceive her, if I had to work alongside that and I was him, I might perceive it as arrogant and annoying. And I don't know that I'd love it.
Yeah.
As a viewer, I love her. I actually liked her more than him. But if I had to work with her, possibly like...
I have a deep love for Agent Scully. A deep love for her.
Fantastic. I'm very excited to hear what house you put her in.
I probably did her completely wrong.
No,
you because I'm rethinking my stuff after I
that's
listened
fine.
to some episodes. But
you don't have to land where you started. Like you can just, what do you think?
You can even talk through what you got and then say the house at the end.
Well, for the longest time, I thought she was the logic house. So that's why I was trying to figure out between Ravenclaw and Slytherin. But the more I read, the more I felt like she was a Slytherin.
Okay.
But now I'm leaning toward Gryffindor, damn it.
Because of what we just said.
Because of some of the stuff you said. Well, this is why I picked Slytherin. I can't say it. Okay. She is very much about her circle. Mulder's in her circle. She protects her circle, even though she doesn't agree with him. A lot of the time, she's still, and her family, her sister. There's you see more of that. And she's relentlessly loyal, obviously, to Mulder, even though he gets them fired so many times. He gets them almost killed constantly. She just stays loyal to him no matter what happens. I mean, but then again, that's not very logical either. She does not like to be wrong. She sees the weirdest shit. she sees, I mean, the episodes you saw, you didn't get to see her see some like totally weird shit. The movie, she
doesn't budge, right?
She doesn't budge. She's like, well, there's an answer for it. There's always an answer for it.
I love her.
Yet she's incredibly religious, which you found out in the one episode, the Beyond the Sea.
So interesting.
Yeah, which I thought was, I think is a great thing about her character is that she's science, but she embraces her religious beliefs very deeply. But yeah, science is the truth for her. I mean, that's just the bottom line, science. She's really good at arguing. I think she really likes to argue with him. I think she really enjoys arguing with him because they argue
with a Slytherin. Yeah. Fun to argue with a Slytherin.
She argues with him all the time, and she's good. She's really good at it. She does. Yeah, he does. She does keep him honest, and he says that you keep me honest. You know.
Oh God, yeah, that's a Slytherin.
Yeah, it's a Slytherin thing to say. She doesn't let people see her softer side. Mulder sees it after a while, but because she's a woman in a highly dominated male profession. She's a doctor and an FBI agent. So that's pretty damn impressive. But she still has to be a certain way. She has to act a certain way. She dresses a certain... later on, she starts, there's more attention to detail in her dress and everything. And just to get people to listen to her, just to pay attention, So
meanwhile, she's a genius.
She is a genius. And she's got a softer side, but you just really don't, she doesn't let anybody see that. Yet they still want to be very protective over her. She doesn't need protecting. Girl saves Mulder as many times as he saves her.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about her too. I said about her ambition, being a doctor and an FBI agent. And she's very confident because she's confident that her science is going to tell the truth. So that's why I said she was Slytherin. But then again, I can see some of Hermione's traits in her.
That's funny.
I can see a little Hermione in her that makes her. But
well, these are really just really powerful, strong, and intelligent women.
Yes.
Right. So there's definitely, I think there's there's characters in all the houses that you could pull and be like, damn, that's
Hermione
really
was a hat stall for another house too.
Right. Yeah. So with a lot of these, what I think to myself all the time is like, when I sort of character, what's the only other house they could be in? And I like to ask that because it's typically the other house that everyone else latches onto, right? Mm-hmm. So again, I have to compliment you because you landed on the only other house that I think she could be in.
So I got them backwards, didn't I?
No. She means Slytherin, not Gryffindor.
Yeah, right. So I get what you're saying about the Gryffindor thing in relation to like Hermione and probably like her pursuit of justice and love of science. Like I get that. But I think the only other house she could be in is Slytherin. But it's not the house I put her in. So Lauren and I put her in Ravenclaw.
See, damn it.
And you're like,
I came really close to putting her in Ravenclaw, but some of the stuff I didn't see her when I was reading up on.
What were you having trouble with her?
What were some of the things that they said? They said, see, now I can't remember because I didn't write them down. But I did.
So she's in pursuit of the truth in her own way, right? She needs it to follow the science and follow the logic of that. Mm-hmm. So
she gaslights herself.
She literally manipulates her own brain she'll see something in front of her and go, but it can't be that because logically that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Because it's how I understood it was challenging her worldview. And you can't really challenge a Ravenclaw's worldview without getting pushback. And you need to give them such profound evidence contrary to what they already believe to flip them. And that seems to me to be her entire character.
This feels like that's what the show is.
For every season,
this is a journey for a Ravenclaw.
Like I'm going to watch it, right? And I fully don't expect her to believe until the end. Or towards the end, you know? And I think that is exactly what a Ravenclaw is. You cannot, we've said it before, we've said it in a lot of episodes with Carla, like a Ravenclaw will not budge. You have to go around them. They won't move. And this woman to me seems unmoving.
Yeah, she reminds me of Carla a lot. I would love, because she's a huge X-Files fan too.
And a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, and a Ravenclaw. And she, that's that initially, because I was watching the shows, and because of you guys now, whenever I watch a show, I try to figure out who's what. And especially this show, because it's my favorite. And I was like, she's a Ravenclaw, she's a Ravenclaw, she's a Ravenclaw. And then I did more digging, and I'm like,
too obvious of the answer. Rachel and I get mad at that sometimes.
Yeah, and that's
when
why
we're like, damn it, they're actually who they're like, projecting themselves to be.
Yeah. Now that I know you're a Gryffindor, it doesn't surprise me that your first answers were like on the money. And I saw you doing it to yourself. You were like, and I thought that was very Slytherin of him, but I'm going to continue down the Gryffindor path. Like, your gut instinct is probably correct. Like, it just probably is. You have to go with that.
The pilot, what Rachel and I were not struggling with necessarily, but one of the big tropes in media is to have a Ravenclaw mentor and a Slytherin mentee. So, I wasn't doing this so much, but I know Rachel really, because we've never seen a romantic pairing come out of that dynamic, and Rachel really wanted to see it. So I know she was trying to see whether
I was trying to fit him into Ravenclaw and her into Slytherin.
Yeah. But I was excited about this because it was a flip on the regular trope that it's a Slytherin mentor, Ravenclaw mentee, sort of, in the sense that he's like, this is what we're dealing with. This is what the world is. Let me show you the ropes. And she's like, ridiculous, but I'll go along anyway.
Even there.
Yeah, like idiot. But so in the pilot, I was seeing that the episode that you gave us that was a Scully episode was a really, really good episode to give to prove that she's a Ravenclaw, because it's one where she is like, oh my God, maybe I do believe this psychic because he knows things about me, and he's telling things about my father who just died or whatever. So it's almost like a Ravenclaw coming to that conclusion because they're being hit with irrefutable logic. And then the very end is so Ravenclaw. It was so funny that he was like, show up at my gas chamber right before I die, and I'll tell you what your father's message is. And she doesn't show up. No other house could not show up. Even Mulder, as a Slytherin, which I believe he is, would have shown up just to have heard it and then been like, psh, okay. Like, I don't really believe that, but I wanted to hear.
It would have been there screaming. Yeah. It would have been there screaming.
Rachel would have been at the door like, tell me what you know.
Like, would have had to know, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I just didn't show up. And Mulder's like, how have you been given all of this evidence, like fact after fact after fact, and you still don't believe? And she's like, well, like, I'm afraid to believe. Like, I just don't. I'm too afraid to believe. And that's so Ravenclaw of her, because it's like, it's not fear on a like, oh my God, there may be aliens. It's fear that the entire worldview that she has built around science and being able to prove things by scientific means and an evidence-based fact might not be the case. That's really scary for a Ravenclaw. That's literally who they are. Like, you're pulling the bottom block out of a Jenga tower when you completely rearrange a Ravenclaw's brain. Like, they're done. They have to completely build themselves back up as a person when you do that. It's scary. They're like, I'd rather just not touch that Jenga block. Like, let's just not do it.
This is actually really interesting. It's really interesting to watch this happen, though, for what I believe to be Ravenclaw, because she won't have to actually rebuild everything, because as she's going along every season with
Mulder's
each new
giving her the tools as they go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it's
she's slowly replacing them.
But she has an advantage here as a Ravenclaw. But
it's still gonna to have a Slytherin partner. But it's still gonna be a big shock and big rebuild. And so she says she's afraid. And then Mulder's like, well, how could you not want to know what your father said? And she's like, I know what he said because he's my dad. It's like, this is just so Ravenclaw for her to be like, I don't need some other bitch to tell me. I know.
Even when she's abducted and gone for a certain giant chunk of time.
Oh yeah, in the pilot. Yeah.
No, she's actually.
Okay.
She's abducted later. That's almost one of the episodes I had you guys watch. She's abducted and missing for months.
And she explains it through some logical scientific.
She's in a coma.
Yeah, she's in it. She doesn't remember, but she can't remember things, and a lot of things happen to her after that that are directly related to that abduction.
Right. And but she gaslights herself.
Yeah.
She literally manipulates herself.
She does it in that episode that you showed us where she's like, well, common psychosis after a loved one dies is to see them. And, if he knows that I'm your partner, then he could know this and this and this. And Mulder's just like, all right, girl, believe what you gotta. I'll be patient with you and you do this. You walk down this road with me.
Yeah.
I also want to say that in the season 5 episode, where she's literally pulling out intestines. And she goes, okay, what did he have? Pizza, pepperoni, and green peppers and mushrooms. Oh, that sounds so good. And she gets hungry looking in this man's stomach. That can only be a Ravenclaw.
The other thing too, you gotta your thing with how she works from pizza. It's the pizza.
Yes. So the way she figured this out, like the problem was the pizza had chlor or whatever in it. I don't remember the word. But she's like, pizza has this. The pizza guy. Mulder. So she went through a list, whereas like I would have went, fuck Mulder, ran. But she had to go through it methodically to get to that point, or it wouldn't have made sense because she could rationalize herself out of it and then not have that anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Because if she's like, no, the pizza guy never got there, so the pizza guy might never have arrived, but she ran into him. So she's taking the steps to understand it before she reacts emotionally to it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. She's a good character. I really
Rachel was all mad at her mom too, because her mom, when she was like, "Was Dad proud of me?" Well, she was all
mad at her for me. I wouldn't want to get that answer.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Well, yeah, I wouldn't give that answer to a Gryffindor. I assume her mother knows her daughter.
She definitely knows she birthed a Ravenclaw. You're right, Lauren. She said that when she came out. She's like, "Oh, Ravenclaw child."
You know what you birthed?
I know what Hogwarts houses are. No, but the mom says to her, she says to her mother, like,
People
was he
don't
ever proud of
necessarily
me?
put a name
and she
to it.
She says to her, he was your father. Like, that's the only answer. And I was like, this bitch, if my mother said that to me,
like, what does that mean?
Correct. I know he was my father. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
Was he proud? You want to answer the fucking question? Yeah. So, but at the end of the episode, like, she's fine with it. Like, that completely... She was like,
she knows her father.
He is my father.
Yeah.
That is all the emotional
she
information
knows
I
her
need.
Father. She's like, I don't need to question this any farther. I know my father.
No way. A Slytherin would need to know what their dad thought of them.
Yeah.
A Gryffindor would really need to know. I think a Hufflepuff would also really need to know. A Ravenclaw, we always say this, a Ravenclaw's the first house that could walk away from a group or a family or from people and be okay for a while. Like, it wouldn't have the initial hit that the other three houses would take. They can move. They can, like, because they're so in their own brain and they've thought out the steps. Like, they can do it. Whereas you or me or even Lauren, it would break our brain to try to do that.
Yeah.
To try to get away from, like, I feel like she could walk off, not work with him, and be like, oh, what a strange time in my life. Just move on with something else. And I'm sure over time it gets harder and harder to do that. But that as is such, like, the nature of a Ravenclaw with relationships, you know, with anything.
Yeah.
But it's giving Ravenclaw. It's very much giving. From the 3 episodes, I only have the 3. But I'm more inclined, like, I won't move from Ravenclaw Scully. Maybe I could see something else for Mulder.
Because when Rachel was when Rachel was waiting for me, because she has to wait for me, because if she sorts before I see anything, I'm mad at her. But
yeah, so I have to shut up until she sees it.
She's like, "Tell me where you are. I'm thinking the thing. I want to talk about the thing." And I finally told her, and she was like, it was when she was still trying to make it opposite so she could have that.
I was like, damn it, I want him to be the other thing.
And I was like, right away was like, no, I feel very strongly about Slytherin Mulder. Like, kinship right here is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
No, I could completely see it after I was reading everything. I was like, oh, no.
Isn't that the way?
Even after all this research.
Yeah. Sometimes you just like work through it and look at it from like would the other house do that? And I think that's why someone like Steve Rogers, like Captain America, gets put in Gryffindor all the time when he's blatantly a Slytherin, like very, very obviously a Slytherin. And that's like, I keep coming back to him as a baseline character because it's the one we've gotten.
Even though he's an extreme.
We've gotten like huge pushback on that.
No, once you guys explained
it, that really bad.
Once you guys explained it, when I was listening to it, it made 100% sense to me that he was a Slytherin. Yeah.
He's same an extreme Slytherin. Like, he's the most Slytherin.
Yeah. With Mulder, the only thing that threw me off is I always feel like he was more emotional. And
I just feel like the show's trying to make you think that, like, you can be an emotional Slytherin.
No, and I was going to say, I actually love that too, because Slytherins get, well, I mean, we're talking about intellectual houses all the time. And actually, it's Ravenclaws who get the rap more than Slytherins for not being emotional. Slytherins, usually when they are described as emotional, it's like
angry.
Emotional. Yeah, it's like angry, or it's like whiny selfishness is the emotion that's like is situated with it. I really like when shows are able to show like emotionally healthy Slytherins. Some of them surprisingly exist.
Another one would be like Kate and Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was going to say Kate Bishop is an emotionally healthy Slytherin. She's actually probably a little, I mean, I would have to watch more Mulder. She's a little less so than Mulder because she's got the trauma. But
like the way she presents her feeling, like she's an emotional girl.
Yeah. A lot of the ways that a typical Slytherin will respond to emotion is by not expressing it or not acknowledging it really, and then it kind of bursts out at inopportune times.
You're just not seeing it.
The ones that are very in touch constantly with their emotion and just like give that to people as the common course of still manipulating and or presenting themselves in the way that they want to be presented are the scariest, most powerful people. I don't know. they're terrifying in their steadiness.
Yeah, that is kind of
and
terrifying.
Normal humanness, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it? That you're so confident in who you are and you're not hiding any of it and you're using it like it's terrifying. You're not. Oh
yeah, that's a Loki. I'd be pretty scared of fucking Loki if he was sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he's not. No, he hides some of his emotions. He hides a lot of
shit out of him.
Yeah, but I'm talking about somebody who is like upfront with how they're feeling at a certain point and are still able to get exactly what they want out of you. That's scary.
That would be scary. Sure. Wouldn't like that.
No.
Ew. I guess that would be like a Veronica Mars.
Yeah, a little bit. She's a little closer to the center. Yeah. She's just over to the left side. Right side. Just over to the right side.
Yeah. Well, I could be swayed on him, but not her.
I think Natasha Romanoff is a little closer to the center than.
You can't read her. She's not honest about how she feels about anything.
No, she is. She's just got the quiet.
Just to care enough.
The quietness.
That's dangerous. Yeah. Quietness is danger.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. She cultivates that very carefully. Where nobody asks because nobody expects her to talk. Where she's like, I'd have told you if you'd said something, but you didn't. So,
It's very aggravating. Yeah. So Mulder would be, if he is indeed a Slytherin, he's just smack in the middle, which is just very interesting. So it got us talking about like middle of the road, who's middle of the road in the house is today. And we only really discuss Gryffindors in relation to that. There aren't any middle of the road Gryffindors. Like there are healthy
not exactly
ones,
like
but they don't fall flat in the middle, like where they have, traits of both extreme sides of a house. Mulder, it's so interesting that he falls right there because I think he has all the like logic and reasoning skills and obviously a genius and obviously is like cultivated his craft. Like he's the guy you want to go to on this topic, but there's an undercurrent of he's angry about his sister and he might not be presenting that anger all the time. And he may not be presenting all the time that like, this is what's motivating him, but it's there. And it's easy for that to pop out like at the right time, which that may be what you see when he's like rushing into a situation and you're like, damn, he really didn't think that through. I would probably just assume based on what I'm seeing of him, he probably did assess it in his head. Like he probably did think about it and think, okay, I've weighed the costs. Like I'm willing to lose this or I'm willing to go through with this because I think it'll be fine. Like he's very confident. Because I don't know. I feel like I just feel like he gave me more Logic House than Emotion House in general. Although he did flirt like a Gryffindor. So that's always interesting.
We have, actually Steve from Wonder Woman is probably right next to him. Is also really close to middle of the road. I'm just looking at our updated scale.
Right.
Not extremely updated. It's only updated through like last November or something like that. October, maybe.
That's another example of like a charismatic Slytherin. Have you seen Wonder Woman, Nish?
Oh, yeah.
Seen both of them?
Yeah, Chris Pine's character.
Steve is another example of like, he's got the charisma.
Yeah.
He's got, he's definitely emotional. And he definitely jumps into things sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like real clearly a Slytherin in his motivations and in the way he behaves. And I don't know. I'll get back to you about this as I watch the show more.
Yeah, I'm kind of
I think I'm probably going to stick with Slytherin on him. Probably.
I'm very curious to see once you watch it.
Yeah. I know. It's always like, you think like the hallmark of a Gryffindor is that they're the one that runs into things without thinking. So if there are examples of him doing that, I bet I'll watch the episode and be like,
it's like,
but he didn't exactly do that.
I was going to say,
actually 5 minutes before that, he thought about it.
That's what I was getting to, or not even that he thought about it, but he just has the confidence in himself to be like, it's not a Gryffindor. If I die, I die. It's a, I can't possibly die. Well, so I'm just going to do it.
He definitely thinks he's right.
Yeah, that's what.
And there's no mistake. I'm
that's
right.
what I mean
I'm right
by
about
that.
this, and you
like
need
Gryffindors
to see.
when they like unthinkingly go into things. It's like, I might not come out of this, but that's okay because that's the type of person I am, and I'm doing it for like the greater good of whoever. Slytherins are like I do this all the time when I get on a plane, and there is like the minuscule chance that the plane will crash. I have no concept of the fact that the plane will fall out of the sky. I just don't believe it. So like every time I get on the plane, I'm like, it's fine. Like that's what a Slytherin is when they like run into something unthinkingly. It's not really unthinkingly. It's just like there's no possible way that anything bad is going to happen to me.
Yeah, when
like,
you say that,
we'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
Yeah, when you say that, that's very much him. I mean, because with Scully, just even with Scully, he's like, she'll be like, but the science, and he's like, but look what I showed you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I
don't
did
care
it.
what the science
so
says.
obviously the science is
I'm
wrong.
more better than the science.
I'm stronger than science.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's so easy to want to put him in an emotion house just because, like, just by the nature of what we do here. You want to be like, so he doesn't trust the science, and he doesn't like trust his government, and he thinks he's smarter than the science, and he's going with his gut on some things, it appears, and he gets really angry, and like, she's the logical one. It's like the show really wants you. If the showrunners knew Harry Potter houses back in the day, it was like they wanted you to think he was an emotion house, but you can't fool me.
Yeah,
you can't fool me. That's not one of mine. I know mine. He's not one of mine. It's just so interesting. I really thought he was going in. I was like, this guy's going to be a Gryffindor watch. Then he wasn't. I'm really enjoying it. I'm probably going to go watch more.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I liked watching the quality jump from season 1 to season 5.
The quality will, really jump. I think season 5 is probably my favorite season.
Oh, cool. I can't talk too much shit about it because I'm going to have Lauren watch Buffy in the summer or like in the summer. Some of the special effects. That's my favorite show of all time.
I love Buffy.
So we're doing that one for my birthday.
I have not disliked it every time I've tried to watch it.
That's good.
I love everything about it.
But are you deeply in love with it? Has it all encompassed your
everything
life
about it, Nish? Because the thing that stops me every time is fucking Xander.
I know Xander's a pain in the ass, but I still like it. He serves his purpose.
Xander's one of those characters where it's like, he's an asshole, but he's our asshole.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
yeah.
you know?
I
still really like Xander
I
at the end of the day.
To hang out with me.
But I hate what he does.
Yeah.
I hate the decisions he makes. But at the end of the day, he's still like, he's Xander. He's part of the Scooby Gang.
And just the dialogue alone in that show is so freaking amazing.
It really is.
I feel it. I don't know. At the time when I watched, because I watched it back when it was on live,
Me too.
and it just the way the dialogue is written is, I just love it. It's just right in the head of that time, that age group, and everything.
It very much had
kind of like Kevin Smith movies. Kevin Smith movies are like that for me too. With the dialogue,
yes,
is amazing.
Clerks, absolutely with Clerks, with Chasing Amy.
Oh yes,
with Mallrats.
Did you see the latest Clerks? The last Clerks?
No,
that
I
one.
didn't see yet.
That one will rip your heart out. It's
no,
good.
Don't tell.
Yeah, it's very current for the time.
Oh, good. I love Jason Mewes like more than anything. I met him at Comic-Con. He's the only celebrity I have a picture with like on the street. Yeah. I cherish it.
Yeah.
I love him very much.
I love Jason Mewes.
Maybe we'll sort Jane Silent Bob one day.
Oh, that would be fun.
I'll get her to watch Dogma, and I'll get her to watch like
Dogma. That's the amazing movie.
It's fucking good, man. Well, you know. The 90s were superior. I'd like to go back to that.
Lauren, have you not watched any?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
No Kevin Smith movies?
Maybe if you kept naming them. I've heard of Chasing Amy.
Oh my goodness.
You haven't seen them.
Oh.
I would bet money. There's no way.
I think
those are things like if you don't have an older bad influence in your life with a DVD with like dirty bad movies that you shouldn't be watching as a kid, it's like, you probably didn't get it.
And then I love the stupidity of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I fucking love that movie.
It's just so stupid. I love it.
It's so dumb.
I know.
It's brilliant because it's so dumb.
I want to call my cat.
Man.
I call her Boo Boo Kitty Fuck, but I can't. I call her Boo Boo Kitty, and then I stop there.
When my little brother was maybe like, I don't know, like 6, Clerks 2 came out. And you know the whole song Jay does? She's like, fuck, motherfuck. That was like the first song my little brother learned and would run around singing as a 6-year-old. And my parents wanted to throttle me. And I was like, well, this is really funny. And they're like, where did you get this? So, we've gone way off the X-Files.
Sorry.
Just the time period. It brings up so many great topics.
Yes.
The cat. I'm really sad I didn't watch this growing up. I'm really sad about it.
Well, you can watch it now. Like I said, it's still, you can still holds up fairly well.
I can hop on the train now and be like the cool 90s sci-fi kids.
Yeah.
I want it, man.
Just don't watch the reboot because the reboot does my Scully bad.
Really?
Yeah. Carla and I in the 11th season, because the 10 and 11 is the reboot. And in season 11, we watched the first episode and they did something with Scully that was so offensive that we both stopped watching it. And we both loved the X-Files.
Wow.
Is that the thing with her kid?
It has something to do with her kid, yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was a consent issue, and
yes,
I hate how they wrote it. And I just rewatched the episode they based it on, and I'm like, no. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with writers sometimes.
Just when it's like, I worship Chris Carter, and then he did this, you know? I'm like, we need more women writing these stories.
Lauren's more the Veronica Mars person, but I felt that way about the Veronica Mars reboot too. I was like, how fucking dare you? I was like, why would you fucking ever do that?
Yeah.
With something that happens in that too. So reboots.
You know, I should
same
give
with
you,
Gilmore Girls. They did something with Gilmore Girls. I don't know if you watched it.
I should give you the books because Rob Thomas wrote the books when he didn't know that there was going to be a season 4. So he continued Veronica Mars through like these 2 books, and those are better.
Yeah, they've burned me. I don't know if I want to.
They're good books. They do it. They fix.
I'm sure they're great, but
they fix it.
Can they bring back the dead?
I mean, they're before season 4 happened, so it's like an alternate.
Then my problem is the dead.
The dead.
Okay, well then he's not dead in the books.
You're just giving me more content of what I liked from before, fine, but I still know it's ending in a fucking problem. Like,
no, because the books don't connect back to season 4. They're just
nothing
like what
should
happened.
Connect back. That shouldn't have happened.
They're what happened instead of season 4.
You can pretend it didn't happen. Those didn't happen.
I'm just saying when people reboot things, like be so careful.
Yeah.
Be so careful.
And they're never careful. I don't acknowledge any X-Files reboot. I don't acknowledge anything after Aliens. There's only Alien and Aliens. There's nothing after that. Terminator up to Terminator 2. That's it.
You're right. Home Alone 1 and 2. That's it.
So you can do that. There are no first 3 Star Wars movies. No.
But he had those planned.
I know.
No.
Yeah, it's just the execution of them, huh?
Yeah.
He had them planned. You can't categorize them as a reboot because he had them planned.
I know, and it's camp, so you have to just go with it. It's camp. Jar Jar's camp.
No,
it's gonna be all right.
You can't. Not a kid of the 80s. You cannot.
I feel you. I totally get that. I'm like waiting now that I'm getting old. I'm like,
you'll have things that'll happen
fuck up for my childhood now. Yeah, I know. I didn't even give the Charmed reboot a try. I
didn't either.
Loved Charmed. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel you. They better not touch Buffy unless they're gonna like really do it right.
No.
Well, I'm sorry that the reboot was sucky, but from what I'm seeing now, really good show. I finally understand the hype about it, and I really like that from my perspective. It's 2 logic houses working together, and you're getting to see. It's just not what you would expect. You would expect one to be like the goofy Gryffindor and one to be the grumpy Slytherin. Like that's just what I thought going into it, and now I really like to see that they're both actually total logic heads in totally different ways. And they're learning from each other.
Did we convince you, Nish?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
You make very good points.
Wow.
Good. Wow. All right, then I don't have to rethink it. I can just enjoy it.
Just live with your reality.
Especially because I was originally thinking that she was a Ravenclaw.
Okay.
I know you have to go with your gut, Nish. As a Gryffindor, this is what you this is like.
We tell Meg that all the time, who comes in with no education or notes that she's done beforehand, and then she second guesses her gut and she gets it wrong. And then she's screaming throughout Carla's responses that she actually...
Yeah, because look, at our core, there's something in the DNA and the biology that we're the kids that don't have to go to class to get the A's. You know what I'm saying? So you just feel your way around and you'll get there. You'll be fine.
I don't do the homework, but I
class
still get a
is
B.
lame, bro.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Oh man, I thought your cat just disappeared into a wall, but it went through curtains. I was like, holy fuck.
Oh yeah, the curtain.
I want to believe.
They're magical.
Ooh.
All right. Well, it takes us to the end of January. Today's January 31st. If you're listening when this came out. Yeah.
I just thought it was January 31st.
Oh my God, Rachel.
So upset. I was like, what?
So next is going to be February. And the next episode we're doing was House of the Dragon. I have not seen any of it yet, so I'm excited to watch it. It's actually something
Did she watch Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon?
Oh yeah, it's a good show.
Real
good
You like House of the Dragon?
the Targaryens.
I love Matt Smith. Hello.
Nish, you're like my people, man. You're my people. I gotta get more Gryffindors up in my life, man. You get me.
Anyway, before Rachel interrupted, I'm going to be watching it for the first time. I did want to watch it. I was like, I should actually watch Game of Thrones first.
Not that you
I've seen... Yeah, because I was like, maybe I should watch Game of Thrones first, but it's not going to happen. So I know a lot about Game of Thrones, like a lot, like kind of like how I know stuff about X-Files, but it's popular culture. But like I know like actually a lot about Game of Thrones because I watched, I think, all of the first season, and I saw 2 or 3 episodes of the last season because I was visiting Rachel when they were watched. And so I saw Jon and Daenerys, and she stabbed her, and the dragon took her away.
Because the dragon has the foresight to understand what a fucking metaphor is. That's the kind of world-class writing we got at the end.
I still want to believe that the dragon took her up to those priests in the mountain and they brought her back to life, and she's going to come back in the prequel with Jon Snow.
Couldn't give a fuck, mate.
Whatever they're doing.
That's how you ended that?
I just know that Brom didn't deserve it. He sounds like a stupid kid.
Bran?
Yeah, Bran, whatever his name is, Brom. I said Brom. That's a character from Aragon.
He's not even a kid anymore.
Unfortunately, we will never be able to sort because Rachel will never read it, and the movie sucks ass shit. So somebody should reboot that. But
she was boring. I don't.
It's not boring. It's about dragons.
Chloe loves dragons. She'll probably watch it.
You'll enjoy House of the Dragon, I think.
Yeah. Yes, I love
way more than Game of Thrones.
I love Daenerys. Yes, I'm excited. They're all blonde and they're all fucking each other and they're all family.
And it's Matt Smith.
Yeah, and I enjoy Matt Smith.
Oh, he's so good.
Not my favorite doctor, but I love him.
My favorite doctor. Yours too. Yeah. We see each other.
Anyway, that's the next episode. And then we'll be doing Ant-Man, which is Rachel's most anticipated episode of the year. So, well.
I'll read the best roles in Clueless.
It's my birthday. And we're going to do Once Upon a Time, and we're finally going to talk about Captain Hook, which I've been waiting for
I love Captain
also
Hook.
My
totally
entire
my
life.
most anticipated episode of all time.
My entire life. Why are you still pretending to be upset about this?
I'm not upset about it.
I tried to watch the last season of it, and I just haven't been able to finish it.
Season 7 is not good. Don't watch it.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's not a part of the show.
Aww,
yeah.
I never got there. I never even tried.
Yeah.
People, they just lose the plot.
You were just arguing with me that you were like, I have to watch season 7 to complete the show. And I said, actually,
I haven't
you don't.
seen it, yeah.
No, you said I have to watch it. And I said, do not watch it. It's not a part of the show.
I just feel like I have to.
No, it's not. It doesn't have anything to do.
It's not even like I feel like I have to. I'm just curious to see how it's so bad.
It has nothing. You're going to be mad like within 5 minutes of the first episode.
And falling asleep.
I believe you.
All I have to do is send you like 3 YouTube clips to get the last bit of Emma and Killian, then you're done.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
I believe
that's what's coming. That's what's ahead. So get ready for that. I'm sure everybody here is so excited. Nish, where can they find you if they want to talk to you?
Oh, I'm on Twitter at Nishwash70. Is that right? You guys would know.
Yeah, that's correct.
And Instagram that way too.
Yeah.
I don't post much anymore because Supernatural's
Nish said some stuff that you Supernatural's not. Are you watching the Winchesters?
I tried.
You didn't like it?
I just couldn't get into it.
You should try again.
I knew you would say that.
No. I'm not saying it as like somebody who is like, Supernatural. I'm saying it like genuinely as a decent TV show. You should try again.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. It's just not super exciting. Is that what you're saying, Rachel? It's just Good
to me, but to other people, they seem to be like really, really excited. But for me, it's like I can sit and watch it and enjoy it and be like, oh, cool. And I mean, the pull of it is Dean for me. So I'm definitely going to keep watching because I want to see some Dean.
Yeah. I will try again. I watched like 3 episodes. Usually I give things 3 episodes and then.
I don't blame you.
I will keep pushing through.
The first 3, I feel like you cannot hold me to this because I feel like it was like episode 4 that I was first like, this is really good. Richard directs episode 7. He's going to be in episode 8. So like you can see a kind of quality jump there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I will give it a shot.
Anyway, reach out to Nish if she said anything that you are mad at or interested in. And, I mean, we encourage fighting.
I'll fight them for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, anyway. Go tell Nish that Steve Rogers is not a Slytherin. Anyway.
What's that?
Yeah, well,
what's a Steve Reg?
Rogers?
Oh, Steve Rogers. I heard you say Steve Reg.
It's absolutely said Steve Rogers.
Talking about sports.
And also tell Carla and Meg that we need to do an X-Files Bed, Wed, and Behead. That's what I've been trying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I keep waiting for them to schedule our
they should be on
Austin one. Meg came to me the other day and went, when are we doing this episode? And I said, it's your podcast. When are we doing it? I don't know.
They keep insisting,
really?
They keep insisting they have to rewatch it all again. And I'm like, they've both seen the whole show. And I know that
they don't have to rewatch it.
Meg doesn't need
Nish,
to.
you know what? You know what? When it's your like project and you want to really know what the fuck you're talking about, like I'm rewatching Buffy for our Buffy episode for sure.
Yeah.
So I get that.
I'm just going to say, I feel like Fuck, Marry, Kill is a little more on vibes than it is.
Yeah.
I know, but someone might do something that would alter what you want to do to them. So you got to know.
Gotta know.
All right. Well, free promo for Bed, Wed, Behead. That's also a podcast that happens. that is about fandom, and it's very good. And sometimes you may hear some familiar voices on it that you would know from this podcast.
Yes, I love it when you guys are on there. I feel like I'm just sitting in a room at a con listening to all you guys. That's what it reminds me of.
Screaming, screaming at each other. Anyway, all right. Oh, I did tell them, too, that I wanted to do an episode with them on Jensen characters.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
They said yes.
Oh, good.
I'm going to do the Bew Soldier Boy Dean.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Nope, I have my answer.
Bew?
What?
Bo.
Bew Arlen. Bo Arlen, I'm sorry. I say Bew because that's how it looks like it's spelled.
I was like, wait a second, what the fuck?
Also, because, he's my Bew.
Nice save. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Nish, for being here. This was really fun.
Thanks.
Another smart, amazing Gryffindor in the books. Who's surprised?
God, I'm going to stop recording now.
Not me.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Sort of Brilliant. If our sorting choices inspired any rage or excitement, we'd love to hear from you. We're open to feedback, suggestions for characters to sort, and solid counter-arguments with citations.
Never forget your citations. You can find us hanging out on Twitter and Instagram at SOB_pod or shoot us an email at sortofbrilliant@gmail.com.
And since we're not above begging, please rate and subscribe to Sort of Brilliant on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Please share our posts on social media. And if you're a Gryffindor, maybe you'll inspire sorting fights among your own friend group.
The theme music is Hot Shot by Scott Holmes. Can't wait to sort with you again next time. Bye!